Hi, Sewing fam. My name is Maddie, and today I'm going to tell you all about the things that I loved and hated about the Sewing and Quilt Expo that I just attended in Florida. Well, in this version of Fridaysews. But first, Fridaysews is the brainchild of my amazing friend Jen over at Today in Jen's Sewing Room. And actually, I'm sporting her merch today. I have a mug too. It's really great, guys. I'll link to everything that I'm going to be talking about down in the description box below. So that way, if you're interested and want to check it out, you can find the links pretty easily, okay? First, let me tell you all, I wasn't actually sure that I was going to go to the expo, but let me tell you, peer pressure is serious. And when my friend Michelle over at Michelle Sews Again decided to rent a house and she invited us all in to stay, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm not missing out on the party. Can't do that. I got to meet some really great people like Izzy, Andra, Carol, Deb. I met her at the convention, but still, like, that was by far the top thing that I absolutely loved about this convention. It was the people. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to mention Christine.
Hello.
I got to meet Christine for the first time, and I guess I forgot because we Zoom sew together on Thursdays. But yeah, she's amazing. And while we're talking about people being what I loved most about this expo, hands down, I met some of you all at the expo. Oh my gosh. And some of you all had watched my video where I was talking about, how I had suffered from depression and how I was working through that. And yeah, some of you said some really amazing things and then mentioned that you were also going to be at the expo. So I decided to make little gifts to hand out to everybody. I ended up making a bunch of eyeglass cases to hand out, and I had personalized them with everybody's name. Some people did end up getting the prototypes that I had made. So some of them weren't exactly perfect because I was trying to figure it out so close to the expo, but at least I didn't give them any of these prototypes. Don't judge me on those, judge me on these. The cases all have a strap that wraps around like that, and it gets tucked in to this little sensor part here. And I wanted to make sure that I had engraved a beautiful saying on them. And since all of these were going to creative people, I decided that I really wanted to laser engrave a saying that had came to me one time in a dream. And I think it's just beautiful. It is, "You are inspiration's perfect muse." And I really feel that way about so many people. I did introduce the cases in my shop today, which is exciting. And what's even more exciting is that my shop turned 1 today. So you all, I can't believe it. Inspired Leather turned 1 today. I mean, I had an amazing year last year, and I'm really looking forward to, just providing excellent service and leather goods to more people. So I'm just super pumped. Oh, and for the 1-year anniversary, I'm running a 15% off sale. So yeah, links down in the description box. So we all had planned like this little tiny mini grandma shower for Jen because, she just became a grandma for the first time in December, I believe. So she has a beautiful grandbaby boy, and we all made her gifts. Well, we all try to make her gifts, and by try, I'm talking about me, because I decided to make her a grandma survival kit. Here's a picture. But the problem was that I made it the night before I was traveling. So I had to be up at like 4 a.m. in the morning to catch my flight. And I drank too much moonshine. I did, man. That banana pudding moonshine from Old Smoky, it got me good. So her gift ended up like all kinds of wonky, like no straight seams and stuff. But it will not fall apart. And inside her survival kit, I included some wipes, a baby pacifier, and some little like minis of alcohol. And the whole explanation I gave to her was,
when the baby's crying, you wipe its booty, you put a pacifier in its mouth, and after that, you take your shots.
I hope she took her grandma survival kit with her because she's with the baby right now in Virginia. But you all, I am so surprised that I was able to get the words laser engraved straight on that thing.
Shocker.
The second thing that I really loved about the expo were some of the classes, actually. I took some really fun classes. There was one that I took, and actually it was the first one that I took. We made project bags like this in 2 different sizes. This one and a mini one. Let me see if the mini one's in here. Yeah. See, and you can see I already have some bag findings for the project that I'm working on now. So this thing is really super helpful. And it was made 100% on my serger, including these zippers. It came together, seriously, with a little glue stick and my serger. That was it. I would definitely make more of these. Yeah, so I definitely recommend that class. It was called... It's not in there. It was like something like vinyl bags on your serger. Highly recommend. The other one that I absolutely loved, and you all, this class felt like therapy. It was called Painting with Thread, and it was basically doing well, it's basically free motion embroidery, and it was just so good, you all. I mean, you just sat there doing this all day, like, oh yeah, this is the life. And I started making a flower. You can see where I drew it on my paper and where I started embroidering it. But I think it looks really good. And one of the things that I actually like about this process, or doing it this way, is all of the fun texture. Because, you know, when you put these things under a machine, you get a very smooth and like, it's a beautiful finish. But I really like the bumpy texture that I got from doing it by hand. So really, really love this class. That was wonderful. I accidentally stole his hoop after they told me I wasn't allowed to take it. You know, I was running out of the classroom to meet up with people. So I took my project and threw it in my bag, grabbed my stuff, and left. And I didn't realize until later when I was showing my friends my project that it was still inside the hoop. So I ended up having to return it to his shop when they were all like, you know, closing everything down. I'm happy that I made it. But yeah, don't steal the hoops. And then the last class that I took was unusual buttonholes and pockets and openings, something like that. And it was actually a really fun class. He taught us how to make a like bias loop and make different types of closures. Now, don't judge my closures. I was having a good old time, and it was late, and I was a little delirious. So I tried to make a half star one there. You see that? A butterfly wings. That one's supposed to be a poo emoji. And you get it more from that side. And then I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. It would be really fun to incorporate cutouts like that. Maybe on like your collar, your cuffs, pockets. I just see all kinds of like useful things to incorporate this. And he actually gave us some really good tips. So I am looking forward to sharing with you all some of the things that I learned and picked up there. Now that kind of leads me into the thing that I hated about this expo. And you all, like, hate is such a strong word, right? I mean, it's just kind of like a strong dislike. It was a dislike that made me actually like get up and walk out of the class early, like after like 20 minutes. Okay, so the thing that I hated was so many of these classes I felt were like strong sales pitches. And there was one seminar in particular that I was sitting in. It was kind of like a lecture style. And it was someone who was selling their books that had different bag patterns and instructions and stuff in it, which I normally would have been okay with because I have a ton of books, and this isn't even all of them, for bag making. But here's the thing. The class was called like Learn the like best bag making secrets, something along those lines. And she was just talking about the bags that were featured in her book and passing those bags along down the aisles. And I'm not kidding you all, some of these bags were gorgeous. But then it got to the point where I would unzip a bag and I would see raw edges on the inside. I unzipped a pencil case once, like a swirly pencil case, and all of the threads were hanging out from where she had serged the zipper on. I mean, the killer for me was when she had said that she had this huge epiphany that when she is birthing a bag, instead of like leaving a hole in the bottom to turn it and then hand sewing it closed, she could just put a zipper there. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting idea. Like maybe that's something I can incorporate. But when that bag got around to me, it was literally a zipper right down the entire bottom of the bag. It didn't go through, so it's not like you could unzip the bag and it would, collapse flat or anything like that, because it still had the bottom, but you can see all the going-ons on the inside of the bag, how it was made, constructed, loose threads, all of that. And I was just thinking, I couldn't make a bag like that and sell it to somebody, because anybody that you give a bag like that to, they're going to unzip that bottom. And it's not a usable zipper. I mean, not unless you're planning on stashing a bunch of $100 bills in the lining of your bag. That's an idea. So that was the one thing that I really disliked about this expo. It was how salesy some of the seminars especially were. I felt like the classes, the tutorials and things weren't necessarily like that. By the way, if you're having fun listening to the stuff that went down at the expo, definitely subscribe and click your notifications button, because every time that I'm meeting up with my fellow sewing YouTubers or going to an event, I'm definitely sharing that information here with all of you all. Now let's get back to the last thing that I loved. And, honestly, you all, it had to be all of the amazing quilting samples. They just blew my mind. I mean, you all, people are so creative. My favorite ones tended to be like, they had shredded fabric, they had cutouts, they just had some really beautiful techniques. Those were definitely my favorites. And I found that the ones that caught my eye and that I kind of gravitated towards were either, they were like opposite ends of the spectrum, dark and gloomy or bright and happy. Don't ask me, I don't know. My wonderful mother-in-law was at the expo too, so it was really nice being able to spend some time with her, because I haven't seen her in a really long time. We saw this quilt, and you all, I mean, it was just, this quilt it really kind of hit home for both of us. So this quilt was one in a series of a voting line, so people standing in line getting ready to vote. But what stuck out about this one was her name was Betty, and my grandma on my mother-in-law's side, so my grandma was just placed into hospice on the day that expo took place, and I saw my mother-in-law. So, that Betty image right there really kind of hit home for us. So we took pictures with it. We, had fun. We went around shopping. And you guys know, I'm not a quilter. I bought a quilt kit. I bought this one. The OMG, David. This is a legit kids quilt kit. It's massive. It's super heavy. It's got all the fabric. It's paper piecing. I don't even know what paper piecing is because I don't quilt. So I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out. I told the poor guys that were at the expo, I was like, this might be the ugliest thing that I've ever sewn, but I'll be happy to have it. And I'm pretty certain that it's gonna take me about 10 years to finish. But let me show you how cool this pattern is. So this quilt is essentially 2 quilts put together back to back. So the front side is this David statue, just like that. And this fig leaf, that's removable. You could like tack on the fig leaf and peek under it if you'd like. And then this is the back side of the quilt. So, I mean, I think it's going to be really beautiful when it's done, no matter how ugly a quilting job I do on it. I just think that, like, this is going to be one of those things that gets passed down through the generations. Like, one day my great-grandchildren are going to be looking at it and be like, wow, great-grand had a dirty mind. And yeah, I love it. You know, it actually makes me think about Izzy. Her grandmother was a cross-stitcher. That's what it was. Her grandmother cross-stitched. And she cross-stitched this really amazing, huge, like, portrait of a naked woman. And it was gorgeous. But, you know, it's one of those things where if you're a little kid, you're like, wow, like, great-grandma made a naked lady? I love it! So for all of you who don't know me, those are the vibes I'm going for in like my 70s and 80s. Yeah, I want to be the dirty old lady. Those are all of the things that I really loved and hated about the Sewing Expo. I was thinking about checking out the Sew Magical Expo that's also in Florida. I saw that they have a cruise that I would die to go on. I just don't think that I have the time available to take off from work, but oh my God, I really want to do that cruise. So if any of you all have been to a Sewing Expo that you think I should put on my 2024 list, definitely drop it down in the comments below, because I want to start compiling a list of conventions and expos to start checking out. Yeah, I think that'll be so much fun. So now let's talk about what I have planned coming up. So I'm actually planning on doing another closet purge for my spring and summer wardrobe. Everything that doesn't fit has to go. I'm about to be brutal, like I did in my very last one that you see right over here, where I left myself with practically nothing to wear. But hey, that's just how it works. The things that I was left with, I looked great in. So check out that video and stay tuned for the next one. You all, and until next time, I hope that you find joy and have an amazing day. Bye.